Well, hello everybody. We are about to launch our one-day special. We're also launching a very special event as well. Obviously, to commemorate VE Day, the 75th anniversary of VE Day tomorrow, we are launching a brand new event. So the way it works, it's kicked off right now and it will run until 6 p.m. on the 11th of May. So enjoy it for that full duration. Any live show, if you purchase 4 items, you will get 4 for the price of 3, because the cheapest item will be given to you for free, courtesy of our VE event celebrating the 75th anniversary. So do take advantage. We're doing our bit. I know it's not the way we wanted to celebrate VE Day on lockdown, but we are going to come together as a nation and make it special. And we've actually got a little video explaining more about the event.
Welcome to Hochanda's Celebrate VE with 4 for 3 event. Join us from Thursday the 7th of May at 6 p.m. to Monday the 11th of May at 6 p.m. as we celebrate the 75th anniversary of Victory in Europe Day by bringing you some fabulous 4 for 3 offers throughout the bank holiday weekend. Simply order 4 products from the same live show during the event and receive the cheapest free. Over the weekend, your favourite guests will be showcasing many exciting products, as well as offering you their invaluable expertise. So tune in, reach for the skies, and stock up on your crafty cargo, and help us celebrate VE Day with 4 for 3 from the 7th of May at 6 p.m.
Do make sure to use the code. What we're going to be doing is we will strap the code at the bottom of your screen just to give you a little reminder. It's VE443. So you can see it at the bottom of your screen, 4 and then the word 4, F-O-R, and then 3. There we go. Okay, so made it easy. Let's have a look. We are launching our brand new one-day special, and it is incredible. Do you know what's so interesting? That I know Hayley, Paola, and because we've got a little presenter group chat, and so many of the team were saying, look, we need this in our lives. So having a look, we've got 2 different options for you. This is your adjustable dressmaker. Now you've got your black and your grey. Whichever size option, they do vary in size option. You can either go for the black option or the grey option. This is your one-day special, so let's just stick with the one-day special, which is your medium. Now, this fits sizes 14 to 20. You can adjust here and here. So obviously tailor-making to whoever, if it's for yourself or somebody else, you can tailor-make to those measurements. Before I go into detail with this, can I introduce you to my partner in crime, the lovely Rebecca. Rebecca, hello. Hey, Rebecca, who's all the way over there.
Hello.
I said to Rebecca, because this is the first time I've worked with Rebecca in her second show live at Hochanda, and it's a shame that Rebecca's come in lockdown because it is a slightly different vibe, Rebecca, but we're still going to have some fun. What I can say, and just prepping for the show and speaking to Rebecca, she's incredibly knowledgeable and passionate about what she's offering you today. So everything on the show, Rebecca has helped put onto the show for a reason. She's going to, we've got sewing essentials, we've got so much more. So she's going to be explaining. Let's just take a look at the 2 different options that you're getting. So one day special, details on your screen. Just getting rid of some housekeeping there. Look at the saving that you've got in the one day special, £49. We've also got access to flexi payments as well. So 2 flexi payments of £55. Look at what you're actually getting. And as a dressmaker, because there is a very well-known show that's running at the moment, and I think it's just brought focus to the whole nation on making your own clothes, dressmaking. Obviously, this is perfect for. If you do go for the one-day special, you can either go for the black. We've also got exactly the same as grey option, just showing you that there. It is a very good unit. Don't believe me, we will show you a video, and I know Rebecca will be talking about that. So that is one option, 771851, your item number. So say size 14 to size 20 for your medium, your one day special option. If that doesn't fit your requirements, we also have another option for you. Now this fits size 8 to 16, you can see there. So it's classed as small fits on your screen, $99.99. I would say this is effectively your second one-day special. Because look at the saving. You're saving £50. You've got 2 flexi payments of £50 right there. So it all depends on sizes. If this is a size for you, then obviously go for this option. That's size 8 to 16. If the one-day special size fits your measurements better, then fantastic, you can go there. Either way, whichever option you go for, you have got the variants of either grey or black. Tell you what we are going to do. is we're going to show a video explaining a little bit more about the fantastic dressmaker. But before we do that, can I also tell you, if you go onto our website, do get ahead, because Rebecca's worked really hard to bring you some fantastic goodies. So my advice, please do get ahead and have a see. We will go over everything on the website. Actually, should we have a quick look now? It's worth seeing. So there you can see the adjustable dress form. I've been saying dressmaker, apologies, dress form. We got scissors as bundles, so I know we got the pinking shears. We've also got the universal dressmaking scissors. We've got the rotary cutter. Look at the saving there, $25.99. You're also getting your refills. You've got your cutting mat. Can we just pause there for a moment? The Sewing Essentials 10-piece bundle is an incredible bundle. Now, everything that you're seeing there, Rebecca has specifically put together as part of this bundle for a reason, and she will be demonstrating some of the items on that bundle this hour. Rebecca was educating me to a pressing ham. I have to admit, I did not know what a sewing pressing ham was. Also, same regard to the Millwood point presser and clapper. That's made with the beech wood. We've got that on the show. We've got a little mini pressing iron. We've got the thread box. We've got the mini dry iron. We've got the sewing craft box. So do have a look. You can see everything on our website or use the Hochanda Go app. But we did promise you a video explaining the dress form. It is well worth seeing. It's really educational. So here it is without further ado.
Hi, I'm Wendy Gardner, and I want to introduce you to the Millwood adjustable dress forms. Being adjustable means that you can actually create a body double that's almost you, which means that when you're dressmaking, you can get garments to fit perfectly. Now, when you get it out of the box, you will find it's got lots of pieces that need to be put together. You'll have 4 of these feet, and they slot into this base very easily. There's a groove there, a notch there, and up it goes. Nice and sturdy once it's all together. You also have a hem marker, the base pole, which has the markings on it, and then the top pole that the actual dress form fits onto, and of course you have the address form. So first of all, we put the hem marker onto the base pole, and then put the base pole into the base there. You can move the hem marker up and down and lock it into place. This pole then goes onto the top, and then on top of that you put the dress form. As you can see on this, you have 2 front dials here, and on the sides and the back you have 3. So there are 11 points of adjustment on the body. You can also adjust the neck, and you can also adjust the waist height. So if you're long-waisted, you can separate the body slightly, and then you can make it fit you. This is all about making a dress form perfect for you. I'm also going to show you some inner parts of the dress form before I put it together, just to make it a lot easier when you do it at home. So inside the dress form, you'll see you've got 2 dials on the pole that you're going to attach to the long pole. The first one, the bottom one, is the one that you adjust, just lock it in place when you've got the dress form on the pole. And the one just above that, it's more like a wheel, that's the one that you turn to loosen so that you can increase the waist length. And then once you've increased it or decreased it to what you want, you lock it in place. So to adjust the sides, you just roll the wheels down and that opens out. So down and out. And the really good thing about these, lovely and easy to wheel, is either side you will see a little bit of white tape. Now if you want to use this dress form for more than just one person, you could have one set of measurements on one side of that, and then you could write another set of measurements, maybe in a different colour, on the other side. And just one more thing before you buy, take your own measurements, bust, waist and hips, and then look at the 2 sizes, the small and medium, and buy the one that most closely resembles your size. And then of course you can do all these adjustments, which I'm going to show you how to do to make it fit you. Now it's all set up, the next job is to do the adjustments. Now the best way to do this is to take your measurements, as I said earlier, and then measure the dress form. Now, I prefer to do it in halves. So measure from the side seam across the bust to the side seam, and then again for the back. Doing it in 2 halves means that if you have got a fuller figure, maybe a fuller bust, maybe a tummy, maybe a bigger derriere, by doing it in halves, you can adjust the bit that you need to the amount you need. If you do it in the round, what you would end up with, say for a fuller bust, is it being too big on the sides and too big on the back and too big on the chest. So for the front dials, we turn them clockwise to open them out. Press in the little white dial there and we can open them out. And then you can start doing the sides. Remember, down is out and the back. So you've got all of these different areas that you can adjust to open it up. You keep on doing that and then you keep on remeasuring and remeasuring. Now, if you have got a fuller bust, there's two things to note. One, bust point. You measure from your shoulder down to the apex or the fullest part of your bust. Check that that measurement on the dress form is the same as it is on you, and the chances are it won't be, because these are a little bit pert for most people, so you might need to put on a bra on the dress form and adjust the bra height so that it's perfect for you. So to help do that, I like to make sure that the dress form height is the same as me as well. Now, if you remember, I showed you there was a dial on the body that I can open and just drop it down a bit until it's the right height, tightening it up. And then it's the right height. And that way, I can check that that bust is at the same point as me. But let me show you how you adjust it to fit you if you've got a fuller figure. So I have put on a bra and I have padded it with toy stuffing. So now, rather than having opened it all up to get this fuller figure that I need, and so many of us do, I've actually done it and created it by putting on a bra which I've padded. Because it's at the right height, I can also check that it's the right height for me. I've also opened up the waist, so I pulled this down because my waist is lower than it was on the dress form. Now this now means that I can fit garments really much more easily. And I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that in just a minute. But the other thing I wanted to say is I've opened it all up all the way round. Now you might find that what you'd like to actually do is have a clearer, smoother outline. So you can do that by wrapping it in some wadding. And then you've got a nice smooth outline. And the other thing you can do, if you've got lots of bits, so for instance, if you had to add something for your tummy here, or if you've got fuller hips, if you're pear-shaped, you might want to add wadding to the hip area. You might need to add a little bit more to the derriere. So you can just do that by adding wadding pieces, just layering it up. And then once you've done that, wrap the whole thing in a piece of wadding, or indeed you can wrap it with cling film. Doesn't look particularly wonderful, but it will be the right size for you. So I have wrapped my dress form in just a thin layer of wadding, just so that I've got a nice smooth line. And as I said, you could actually wrap it in cling film if you like. And then I can do things like tissue fitting. Now this is a step that you can do in dressmaking. Before cutting out your fabric, you fit tissue to yourself. It's so much easier to do it on your body double here. So I can check that the centre front is in the centre. The side seams are down the side. The bust point is in the right place for my bust because it's all me in shape on here. It just makes dressmaking so much easier. So you've got an adjustable dress form which you've created your body double from. Having created your body double, you can make garments that fit you perfectly. As you can see from my pal here, she's got one of my dresses on and it fits. Now the last thing I'm going to show you with this amazing adjustable dress form from Millwood is the hem marker, because it makes it so much easier to hem your garments without enlisting the aid of a friend or standing on a table as somebody tries to go round you. So we put the dress form on the table because it makes it easier for me to show you. When I do this at home, I'm normally sitting on the floor. But it's very easy. You move the hem marker up to the level you want it to be, and then you can lock it in place. And then you can bring it forward. So if you've got a fuller garment like this, you can bring it forward so that the fabric will slip in nice and easily. Now you see there is an opening here which you slot the fabric into. And then I can just turn it up by the required amount using the marking on the front here as the guide. So if I decide to make it on the 4, turn it up onto the 4 and then pop a pin in. Move it round, go to the next piece, it's on the 4, pop a pin in. So it's really quick and simple, and you can do this yourself without enlisting somebody to help you. but do always let the garment hang for at least 24 hours before hemming, just in case you have bias cut seams on the sides, which can droop otherwise. And once I've pinned it close to the hem turning, I can then even up the hem allowance and then finish the hem by hand on machine. So that's it. Your Millwood adjustable dress form, your best friend.
It really is going to be your best friend. We've got two different options for you, individual item numbers. We're looking at the one-day special. Have to say, extremely busy for this. What you are getting is quality from Millwood. You're getting the adjustable dress form, your medium, so it fits sizes 14 to 20. But we saw in that video all the unique features, the fact that you have got that full adjustability. You've also got the hem down here, so we can adjust the hem. Everything that you need. Just down there you can see there's the hem. Okay, there we go. Look, if you want to start, or if you already enjoy making your own dresses, what this allows you to do is to give that perfect fit. So you're able to ensure all the measurements are correct either to your size, or if you're making for someone else as well, take their measurements, pop them into your dress form, and you're good to go. It is invaluable. And in talking to Rebecca, I know that you could be paying 150 plus for one of these. So I think our prices today, whether you go for the one-day special, I will be giving you options for our smaller size as well. Either way, you're getting a great price, and you're able to, and this is a real key at Hochanda, and we love being able to say on certain items that you can split the cost. Just to give you a reminder, you can see at the bottom of the screen, we are celebrating VE Day. It is, of course, tomorrow, the 75th anniversary of VE Day. So to do our bit here at Hochanda, we've launched at 6, so we've just launched a brand new event. It's going to run until 6 p.m. on the 11th. And the way it works, on any live show, if you buy 4 items, it has to be 4 items from that same live show, you will get the cheapest item free. So effectively you get 4 for the price of 3. Just make sure you use the code, and you can see just down there, you either quote the code or input it into our system, VE443. Okay, so that's the one-day special. Details are on your screen. Just choose whether you want to go for the black or the grey variant. So you've got 2 different options within the one-day special. Black at the moment is in the lead. We'll be looking at Rebecca in just a moment. She's got the grey option with her. We're just going to bring up the details for the small, which you can see here. So this is a small in grey. As I say, it does come in black as well. So with regard to the small, now the only difference between the one-day special and the small, of course, we can adjust the height and everything there. With the small, it fits sizes 8 to 16. So if those sizes are relevant to you, this is the option to go for. You're saving £50, and I think any dressmaker will be aware of how much you would normally pay typically for your dress form. $99.99, splitting the price though in half if you want to take advantage of flexi payments. £50 today, we'll send it out too. Obviously, there's a really well-known show, and you don't need me to tell you which show is currently running at the moment. And it seems that the whole country is making their own clothes, dressmaking. So if you want to become your own dressmaker, you need something like this. Again, you've got all the features that you need. I'm going to actually introduce you to the lovely Rebecca Reed, who's at the other side of the studio. Rebecca, these are fantastic. Now, you were telling me, and share with the audience, what is it about the dress forms that really speak to you? Why would you be using one?
Well, the thing is, I find a lot of people, they start dressmaking, and the biggest issue they have is that they can't get it to fit. And then they spend all this money on the fabric and all the pattern, and it doesn't fit. But if you've got one of these, it does.
Yeah.
Now, you get a lot of dress forms that are, you know, when you were talking and you said, oh, it's a size 8 to 14, it's sort of ignore that a bit, because you can change it. Because no one's perfect, are they? You might have a 12 waist but 16 hips and 10 bust. And the good thing about these is you can adjust them. So when you're choosing between the size, remember you can make these bigger. As they said on the video, now when you get them, you can put padding in different places. You can put a bra on and then pad that. So, you know, if you're thinking, oh, well, the small is 18 to 16 and the medium's 14 to 20, you know, go for it that you can then make it a little bit bigger. Okay. And that's the great thing. But what's wonderful about it is that when you're at home and you're making something and you can't see what it looks like from behind, you can't see whether you zip straight, well, you just put it on here, it's slid down, and you can immediately twiddle it round. You can see what does it look like at the back. Perfect. If you're thinking about, oh, shall I put a bit of braid or a bit of ribbon on, you can pin it on, stand back, leave it for a few days and go, no, I don't like that. Shall I put a pocket on? But by spending a little bit of time, get someone else to do your measurements for you. That's always quite useful.
Yeah.
Get it perfect. And then, just to test it, put something on it that you know fits you, that you know looks right, and see if it still fits. Once you've spent that little bit of time, it's easy.
Yeah. And I would imagine it takes, if people in the past you've made clothes for somebody and they've had to stand there while tweaking, you don't need any of that anymore.
No, you don't, none of this standing on a chair to do the hem. Also, there's a lot of fabrics, if you cut fabric on the bias or if it's a knit or a stretchy fabric, you need to let it hang for at least 24 hours because it will drape and fall, and then you hem it. Well, you could hang it on a hanger, but it's not the same as putting your dress on here. And if you're not sure about things, you know, put it on. Say, shall I have a 3/4 length sleeve? Shall I have a short sleeve? Honestly, if you haven't done dressmaking before, this is brilliant. If you have, it will make such a difference. You touched on the drape. That's so important. I would imagine actually putting the dress you're making onto your dress form and being able to see that drape. Yes, because sometimes if you have a full circle skirt, some of the parts of the fabric are cut on the bias, which means it stretches more. And over a period of sort of 24 hours, it will drop. So you might hem it and then wear it 3 days later and it's longer. So, perfect. So honestly, it makes a massive difference. And it's one of the reasons why people start dressmaking and then stop. And the great thing about this resurgence in dressmaking at the moment is getting everyone dusting out their sewing machines, going, oh, I'll have a go. Of course. But imagine just making your own clothes. That's a massive thing, because I know how a lot of our viewers at home have got a stash of fantastic fabrics. So here you're able to think about all those beautiful fabrics you have at home, being able to make your own clothes. I mean, how much would you pay for one dress? So I mean, I make loads of my own clothes, but what I do more of, and I think lots of people do, is I adjust them and I customise them. That's it. I rarely buy something where quite often it's got a high neck and I don't like that, I want a low neck. If you have one of these forms, you can test out different neck things, or I'll put a different colour on, or usually it's too long, I've got to shorten it. Or they've never got pockets, and everyone needs a pocket. So I think more so than making
to be able to adjust.
It's adjusting.
And
getting it to fit you. So quite often you buy a dress and you think, oh, well, it's really loose around the waist. To get it to fit my hips, it's loose around the waist. That's what a lot of people have the problem with. But you can adjust it. So you can push pins into here. So you can put the dress on that you've bought, pin it so it fits, sew it, put it back on and go, perfect. So you can set your dress form to your exact measurements. It's like having a clone of yourself. And you'll be able to work. It's incredible. It really makes a difference. You don't want to spend all that money on the fabric and the pattern and then it not fit. Of course not, of course not. But it really makes a difference. Have to say, we are very, very busy for a one-day special. We're also busy for the other option as well. So go for whichever option works for you. Rebecca said something that was actually quite interesting. She was saying when you go for whichever of the dress forms that you do choose to go for the right option for you, allow for a bit more space, because you can always pad up, you can always expand and make it that little bit bigger. Right, what we're going to do now, remember, we've got the one-day special, we've got the smaller option of the dress form as well. We've also got some other goodies on the show, and I know that we've got an essential bundle. Rebecca, am I right in saying you put together this bundle? Yeah, so one of the company who supplies all of these wonderful things, and they supply lots and lots of different manufacturer stuff. They said to me, can you put together the essential kit? What do people need if they've not sewn before? So I went through, because I mean, I know what's in my sewing kit, and I chose all the things that I love. Really selfish. All the things I love, but also, even if you've sewn before, the little gadgets that just make life a little bit simpler. Easier. Well, the thing is, if it's made your life easier, it's going to make a lot of others very happy. So, I mean, I've been sewing for 30 years and worked in all craft my whole life. And so I know what's good and what's not, and I wouldn't put something in this bundle if it's not good quality or it makes your life easier. And I believe you. I'm just going to flash the details. This is what you are getting, so we've got a picture of everything you're getting as part of this bundle. I mean, there is an awful lot. You can see your price and your item number on your screen. I tell you what, Rebecca, if you just talk us through everything that we are getting in this bundle and also explain why you want to put it in the bundle. So number one, pins. Of course we need pins. So these are dressmakers pins. They're made from high carbon steel, which means they're very strong. You need strong pins, you don't want them broken. Their dressmakers pins need to be about 1 inch long, which these are, and these are 65.65 millimetres diameter, which is just right for fine and medium fabric. So if you're using a cotton fabric, this is what you need.
It's the one.
They're good quality pins.
Okay.
I chose them because they've got flat heads, they haven't got glass heads.
Okay.
And the reason for that is if you have glass heads, you can iron on them.
Right.
You can't on plastic heads.
Right.
But they're just easier when you're pinning small details.
Yeah.
The glass heads can get in the way. It's nice to have both, but
Yeah.
I would say if you haven't got dressmakers pins, these are the ones you need.
Excellent.
Okay?
Yeah.
The second thing I chose was a decent tape measure.
Yeah.
Now, lots of people have a tape measure that you roll back up and then you never bother, and then
Yeah.
it all gets twisted, and then it actually stretches and is misshapen.
Ah.
It's very important your tape measure is correct.
Yeah.
So I love a retractable tape measure.
Yeah.
And I chose this one because it's metric on one side and imperial on the other,
Oh, that's perfect.
and it works.
Great.
And it works. So that's just a really nice quality. It's also the various qualities, and this was a premium one, and the
Yeah.
reason for that is that the spring's good, because otherwise you can get quite cheap ones
Yeah.
that you often get free with things,
Yeah.
and after a while they stop retracting.
Hmm.
It's very annoying. But
It's
if
very
you've got one
frustrating.
that you coil up,
Yeah.
they can often get bent and twisted, and then the measurement changes.
Okay.
So that's why I chose this.
That's a good tip.
A
Yeah.
seam ripper, I love a seam ripper because you think it's for ripping seams, and it isn't only for that, it's for lots and lots and lots of things. So, have you ever seen one of these? People always wonder what the little red...
I have seen them, yeah, but do explain for anyone who
The
hasn't
little
really,
red
yeah.
bobble is.
Yeah.
So, I have... Here's one I did earlier. I've sewn a seam.
Right?
Okay. Now, there's a couple of different ways of unpicking a seam with a seam ripper, but I'm going to show you what you need to do. Oh, I need to be on here,
That's
don't I?
fine. Yeah, you can go for it. You can stay there.
Okay.
That's fine, yeah.
Is unpick a couple of the stitches to start with your seam ripper.
Yeah.
Now, don't do it with the point up. This little red ball needs to go down.
Okay.
And if the red ball's down, it's protecting the seam. And then you need sort of 3 hands for this, really. So you need to hold the seam, and you need to hold the seam ripper. So do a few, and then keep the pointy bit on the top and the red on the bottom, and you can rip the whole seam all the way down.
Ah.
And the little red ball protects it.
You just, oh, that's, okay, that,
see?
I'll be honest, I know, I'm aware of seam rippers, I've seen them used, but I didn't know the red ball was used in that way.
That's what it's for. If you've got very light, delicate fabric and you're
Yeah.
worried about doing that, or it's stretching out of shape, then the way to do it is place your seam flat and use the pointy end to undo every 3rd or 4th stitch.
Yeah.
And the great thing is if you keep it flat, you only go through the
Yeah.
stitch. Then if you turn it over to the other side, you can just pull, that will come up, that will all come undone.
I mean, it is a must. If you just go through everything else that we're getting in the
Right.
bundle,
So-
Rebecca.
The 4th thing is the pin cushion.
Yeah.
Everyone needs a pin cushion, and the tomato pin cushion goes back to Victorian times, and then people wonder what that's for. This is filled with little rock-type particles for sharpening your pins.
Yeah.
So push your pins in. That's what
Perfect.
that's for. It sharpens your
It
pins.
sharpens the
Also, because it's divided, it's really good for keeping machine needles in as well.
Okay.
Tailor's chalk.
Yeah.
This is for marking, and I chose this one because it comes in 3 colours. You get a white and a blue and a red, and obviously you use them for marking different coloured fabrics, so your whites for your lights.
Yeah.
And I chose a triangle shape because it's got a nice sharp edge.
Nice point that you can get nice
So
crisp
you
lines.
use it for marking seam
Yeah.
allowances, notches, all sorts of things, but this is lovely. It's
Cool.
also a bit sort of retro, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's what they use traditionally.
And it's good quality.
It's
Yeah,
really
but-
good quality. This is
Yeah.
what tailors have been using for generations.
Okay.
So that's why I chose
Brilliant.
that.
And everything that Rebecca's showing you right now is all included in the same bundle. We've still got more to share, and when you consider for the price, it is very good value for money.
So that's the tailor's chalk.
Uh-huh.
And I showed that you've got, when you're choosing, with a piece of white, just hold it between your thumb and finger, and then it's got a nice edge.
Oh yeah.
And then it will brush off afterwards if you just use a little brush.
Mm-hmm.
But if you've got some black fabric, then you'll need the white chalk.
Lovely.
Leaves a really nice
Perfect.
line.
Yeah.
Always test it on fabric if you're unsure, make sure
Yeah.
it doesn't mark. But you've also got the little corners as well for just making little marks. So
Yeah.
you can mark a fabric to just put the notches or different things that you want to do.
Yeah.
But
And it will last a very long time.
it will, it
Yeah.
will last a long. And because you've got the 3 sides,
Mhm.
it keeps, you can just keep sharpening.
Okay.
So, and also they come in a really useful box. Keep them in the box because they are quite brittle and they'll break. If
Yeah.
they break, it doesn't matter, you can still use them, but keep them
Yeah.
in the box.
Okay.
Pin tray, love this.
Yeah.
I love this because when you're sewing, you're on your machine and you've got too many pins in your mouth, which you're not supposed to do, but we all do, but you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
You want to just be able to throw them, and this is wonderful. So it comes with a few pins already, not many, but that's not what it's for. It just picks them all up.
So this is also great. You're telling me, Rebecca, if you drop any pins onto a carpet, to be able to find it on
you
a
can just
carpet.
sweep across.
Yeah.
So if we drop all of those pins, you can just pick them all up. Say you've done, you make a nice sculpture as well. Say you've pinned a dress pattern or a quilt or something, and you want to just make sure you've got them all. Just sweep it across and you've got them.
Yeah.
It comes with a plastic lid so that if you've, if you're clearing up at the end of the day and then you think, oh, I've got some pins left over, you can just quickly pop them in through the hole in the top.
Oh, perfect. Okay.
So it's a really useful. If you've got, I often have these pins, I never normally keep them in, I keep them in bigger pots.
Yeah.
This is perfect. Really good way of clearing everything up as
Fantastic.
well. But I love that. It's just a really handy gadget that when you've got it, you'll think, I wish I had this years ago.
Seen it, and it is, it's one of those items that are always very popular here at Hochanda.
Just it's like with all these gadgets, isn't it? It's when you've got it, you then realise why you need it. The next thing is a seam gauge. So this is a metric one. So if you are marking seam allowances, so say you decide, right, well, I want to turn my hem up by 1 centimetre. This side is 1 centimetre because it's 1 centimetre from there to there. You've got 1.5 centimetre, so you don't need to use a ruler. These are all the common measurements: 3 centimetres, 2 centimetres, 4 and 6.
Yeah.
And then if you need to mark a seam or a turning, you can then just draw, get a pen and you can just draw all the way down there. It's just a really handy little gadget. Because it's metal, you can press onto it. So if you want to press under, you can use this to press onto as well.
Great.
So it's just, again, a little gadget that just makes life easier. So rather than getting your tape measure out and measuring and marking, there you go, right, 1.5 centimetres. Yeah. Easy.
Okay. Is there still more in the bundle?
There's more in the bundle.
Yeah, there is. Keep them going.
Hand sewing needles, you always need these in dressmaking. I've chosen sharps for you.
Okay.
There are loads of different types of needles. Sharps are the most commonly used in dressmaking for hemming, sewing on buttons. They've got a very small round eye, which means they slip through the fabric well. But because it's round, they're quite easy to thread.
Okay.
They're a medium length needle, very sharp point, hence why they're called sharps.
Yeah.
So there's lots of different needles you can have for different things, embroidery needles and chenille needles and betweens, but for hand sewing, particularly dressmaking, those are the ones you need.
Perfect.
And they're in sizes 5 to 10, which are the ones that you'll use the most often. Nice. So just choose the one that's the best size for you, but basically those are the ones you need. Don't buy cheap needles. No. And don't buy just general. When it says general, it's not the right thing. Sharps are the needles you need for dressmaking.
Right. Great.
And then finally, machine needles, because we all need machine needles. These are a really good make, Class, which is a German make. Right. They're universal, which means they have they're sharp, but they have a very, very slightly rounded point so that you can use them for cottons, but you can also use them for very slight stretch materials. Yeah. So they're the ones, if you buy a sewing machine, that it comes with. And I've included 2 packets. These are sizes 70 to 90, and these are 90 to 100. Yeah, those are 60 to 80, these are 90 to 100.
Perfect, cover yourself.
Lightweight fabric, heavy fabric.
Yeah.
Change your needle after every 4 to 8 hours of sewing.
That's really important as well.
Really,
really
important.
Something people are guilty of, and then you needle break. So have you done that?
Or when people say to me, oh, my machine's messing up, or the tension's going, the first thing I say is change your needle. Yeah. And the majority of the time, it's because your needle's blunt. Okay.
Good knowledge. And all of that,
and all of
the bundle that you're getting, all of that for such a fantastic price. Details are on your screen. You can have a little look, and the item number. I've got to go back to the one-day special because we are busy. What you are getting is the dress form. Just going to show you, flash up details of the one-day special and everything that you are getting. Just having a look there, and you can see So with regard to the one-day special, now the important part is sizing. So with the one-day special, if you want to go for the one-day special, it fits size 14 to 20, and you can have a look on your screen right now. £109, whether you go for the grey or the black. You have got access to 2 flexi payments of £55 as well, so we're spreading that payment over 4 weeks. We are very busy for our one-day special. We're also busy for the smaller size as well. It's the adjustability, and we showed a great video, and we might show it again this hour possibly, but what it allows you to do is that full, or 8 o'clock actually, if you tune in at 8 o'clock we'll show it again, but it's being able to have that full adjustment to your measurements, or not just your measurements. If you're making a dress for somebody, all they need to do is give you their measurements, and then you're able to adjust. But also, and Rebecca said it herself, and this is such a good point, because everybody is a different size. So if you do want to pad out, make hips wider, smaller, you can do that again with the bust. So you've got that choice, you've got that flexibility. All you need to decide is which size you want to go for, whether it's a one-day special that fits size 14 to 20, or that's classed as your medium, or if you want to go for the small that fits sizes 8 to 16, then you'll go for the small option. Details are on your screen right now. 074395 your item number. The key is also picking the right colour. So whether you wanted to go for black or grey, you have that choice. Okay, so this is a one-day special. Let's have a quick look at the website as well, because there are other items on the website. Loads more deals. Now, okay, we've got an event running at the moment, and should we play the event if we were to do the event? So for instance, if you put some pinking shears into your basket, $20.99. Let's put the rotary cutter in our basket, $25.99. Having a look, let's put the bundle, the 10-piece essential bundle, into our basket, and let's put the threads into our basket, so $29.99. Now, we won't be able to add the code ourselves, but I'll just show you. If we go to our basket and have a look, you'll get the cheapest free, which is the $20.99, so you've saved £20.99 from your price. It will be cut off your price. So that's effectively a 20% saving using our code. That in just how we did it. Effectively, the way it works is if you put 4 items in a live show. Now, this is every live show up until 6 p.m. on the 11th. So anything you put in your basket has to be on the same live show. If you've got 4 things in your basket, you're paying for 3. The cheapest one you'll get as part of our rent. You do need to use the code. So it's VE443. The number 4, then spell 4, and then 3. Okay, we're going to go back to Rebecca, and I know she's got another fantastic demonstration. Oh, by the way, Rebecca, got to ask you, I know you've used the dress form to make a dress with lights. Can you elaborate? You need to tell us about this.
Yeah. Yes, I did. Well, I always put lights on my dresses at Christmas, always. So if you buy a little pack of LED lights, you know, the ones with the small battery pack,
yeah,
you can sew them to your dress. So when I go to the Christmas party, I always buy a pack, and you make a little pouch out of fabric to put the battery pack in, and then sew that on the inside, and then you can just tack the lights sort of around the hem. I've had them around the hem, around the middle. You can get flashing ones. And
well, this is amazing.
I know, it's just
amazing.
amazing.
You can just literally sew lights on. So like you were saying, and this is actually a really good point, with regard to the one-day special, the smaller size, you might not be making a dress from scratch, but it's being able to customise.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, and having a dress form makes things like that easy. So actually, when you go to a party, you can have not a brilliant dress, but if you've got lights sewn all around it, it looks amazing.
That sounds great. I'm a little bit jealous.
Right, and a lot of them come with remote controls as well, the little LED lights.
I love the remote control. You could give your remote control to someone else, and then they decide what's going on.
Yeah, no, I've done that. Really bad idea. You end up flashing and red and all sorts.
Okay, we won't do that. What are you going to show us then, Rebecca?
So, do you want me to talk through the dress forms again?
Yeah, please.
And show the best thing about them. So I've worked out now why this one fell down. So on the video, you saw how to adjust them. That you can open them and you can make them bigger. So remember, you know, just do it very slightly. Have you talked through the measurements? Because I know we've talked about them being sizes 14 to 20.
Yeah.
There are actually measurements of what these are like. So
okay, no, if you explain that to us, that'd be fantastic.
Okay, so the measurements, I just need to get them because I shall forget. The measurements of this one, when everything is closed down, the smallest, before we've adjusted it and made it in bigger, so if I close it all down, the smallest that it is a bust of a 39 to 47 inch bust. So If you're smaller than a 39-inch bust, then you will need to buy the smaller one.
Right.
Because you obviously can't make it any smaller.
Okay.
So take your bust measurement, and if you're 39 to 47, that's right. For the waist measurement, it's 32 to 40 inches. Okay. That's all the way round. When you measure yourself, measure your waist, you have a natural waist, and then you have the waist that's a bit lower than that. It's got to be your natural waist. So if you bend to the side, the bit that bends, that's your natural waist.
Can we just go back to, and I'm approaching this very, very tentatively, but I just want to ask the question. You know, we're talking about the busts.
Yes.
So say you were saying, what was it, 39, 39?
39 to 47.
So that's kind of this bit, and then
no, that's the full bust measurement.
Oh, it's a full.
So it's you've got to go right across the middle.
Yeah.
Shall I show you with my tape measure?
Well, you can, yeah. I just want to ask. So when does cup size come into it? Do you pad that out? And I'm really not trying to be funny here, but it's important. I know we ask it sounds a bit odd, but how does that work? Is that factored in, the cup size?
Well, this, like they said on the video, is that when you buy a dress pattern, it's always made to a B cup.
Right.
So if you're any different to a B cup, small or bigger, a lot of people are bigger than that, you then have to adjust the pattern. Right. So the great thing about having one of these is if you put a bra on that belongs to you and then you pad it out, and then you measure yourself with another bra that belongs to you, and then you measure that, make sure it's the same. There's lots of ways of adjusting patterns. It's called a full bust adjustment, so you can make it bigger so you can fit you.
All right.
So you just take a pattern and you cut a slit in it and you make it bigger. There's loads of different instructions for doing this. Okay, I'm sorry, thank you for sharing that. No, you were just going on to the hips, I interrupted you. So the measurement, I'm going to show you on the dress form. When you're measuring yourself, the full bust, the bust measurement has to go right across the centre. Yeah. So measuring yourself is really important. I've known how to do this. Yeah. And you hold the measurement. So as you can see, that's 39. Right. Make sure, if I can twiddle this round, that when you do it, the back, oh, it's falling down again. The back goes straight across. Okay. Yeah? Oh, I haven't adjusted this properly. When you then measure the waist measurement, make sure it's the bit where you bend. Yeah. And then the hip measurement on this one is 41 to 49 inches. Okay. Now the hip measurement is you can feel where your hips are. You've got like a hip bone just below your waist. Right. But really it's the biggest part of you. Oh, okay. So you've got to measure, I'll show you on this one, you can see, you've got to measure the biggest part, which is probably where your hip bone is and round your bottom. Okay. But if you find that once you've adjusted it all, that there's bits, because some people have, we're all different shapes, sizes. You might have a bit more on the back of your hips or the top of your bottom than is on here. You can just add a little bit of wadding or padding and then wrap it. You can buy stockinette, you could wrap it in cling film, you can use wadding like the lady did in the video. There's lots of different ways to adjust it. Yeah. Now, the sizes we've just shown are for the one-day special. I know we're looking at small. Just to say, the reason why the mannequin, you can see with the Rebecca, has just tilted down a little bit, it's only because it's got a little bit of a, I don't know how you describe that. It's a tightener? I don't know. I'm sure it's like a screw to tighten it. It's like a screw. So you just tighten that up, and then obviously it's rigid. But then if you want to adjust the size, you would loosen it here, and then you can go up or down. So just to let you know that. Rebecca, because you need to adjust it so it's your height. Yeah. So look, this one's the right height for me now. I'll say this one's very similar to me. Look, I know we're talking about the dress size. Guys measuring the waist, then is that obviously different than to ladies? Yeah, so a fit. Well, when you buy trousers to fit your waist, it's not your actual waist; it's just below, isn't it? It's just almost here. Probably your hips. Oh, okay. But on a measuring yourself, you need your bust, your waist, and your hips. Perfect. But the bust measurement is always round the middle. Could you make a shirt for a guy on these, or is it just purely for dressmaking? Well, I suppose you could. You just don't have a bust issue here. However, you could do, because if you just ignore the fact that it goes in, you can just measure the chest. Okay. So, say you had a 40-inch chest. Well, I have 44. Well, there you go. You'd have one of these then. So you just adjust this from 39 and you make it bigger and bigger until it's 44. Okay. So yes, you could. Yes. Okay. But obviously, or can I say word? I don't know if I'm allowed to say, but
maybe in the future might get into male ones. I don't know. Possibly. You never know.
Yeah, that's true. Well, there are different ones you can buy that have trousers as well. I mean, this is quite good because it has got a slight opening here for trousers. Remember, you can adjust the neck as well, and that's really important. If you're making a blouse,
oh yeah, very.
You really don't want to have the neck too tight.
Yeah.
So you adjust the neck as well. So I would say get someone to help you with those measurements and write them down. And also, you know, every 6 months or so, remeasure. We change.
What are the key measurements we would need to know? So if you were to input your measurements into the dress form, what are our key measurements?
Well, when you're buying it, the first thing you need to know your bust, waist and hips.
Okay.
Don't forget when you do your tape measure to make sure that it's, I still haven't done this up tight enough, make sure that the measurement when you go around the bust is straight across the back.
Okay.
Quite often people will measure and they'll have it dipped.
Right.
And that changes.
Okay.
And so put your normal underwear on.
Right.
Your bra and your pants.
Yeah.
You do need your bra on because you change shape when you've got your bra on.
Yeah.
And nothing else.
Right.
And measure yourself like that. And don't hold your stomach in.
No.
But then don't push it out.
Okay.
Sort of
just relax.
You know.
Okay.
Because you don't want to make a dress that you can only wear when you're...
Yeah.
Because that's horrible, isn't it?
No, of course.
These clothes have got to be comfortable. Just relax. And then measure yourself. And if you're not sure, get someone else to do it as well.
Yeah.
And then you can then set it all. But you remember what I said to you before, put something on it that you've got that you know fits nicely.
Yeah.
Once you've readjusted
and then sort of tweak it to that. So if you've got that one dress that it just fits you beautifully, you absolutely love it, then obviously tweak the dress form to that dress. So put it on and then just make your adjustment.
Well, you could. I mean, and also if your style is that you like a looser fit, you like it more flowing, you can always make it a little bit bigger in places. So it is slightly bigger than you.
There is a huge, you know, you talk about preference. The real benefit and the reason why I think we are so busy for a one-day special is the ability to tailor make. Now, I've fortunate enough to have some suits and some items of clothing that are tailor-made, and I paid an absolute fortune for them. So they're not cheap. So being able to get a dress, whether you've just bought a dress on the high street and you love that dress, but there's certain area of the dress that just isn't fitting your shape, you're able to tailor make it. And then obviously if you want to go on and make your own dresses from scratch, anything you use in your dress form, they're your measurements, so you're able to have that tailor fit every time.
Well, and it's always also adjusting. I've got a different dress with me that I've adjusted. I'll wear it at 8 because, as I was saying, I don't like high necklines. I like something lower, and it took me ages to do it without a dress form because I wanted to cut it to the right, and I had to keep cutting it and then go and stand in front of the mirror on a chair because the mirror in the hallway is quite a nice mirror, but you have to stand on a chair, and then I'd have to come back again, and then I'd have to put it back on and then go back, but with a dress form, it would have been so much easier.
Can you relate to that story? Have you tried to adjust something yourself? Have you been in a mirror? Have you been standing on a chair? Now that's frustrating. What you're getting with the dress form, this is a duplicate you. So if you ever thought, wouldn't it be it's so much easier if I could work on myself and just have someone standing there? They're not going to grumble. So if you normally rope in, say someone else is standing for you, if you're making a dress for somebody and they're grumbling about standing there and getting the hem right, everything like that, the beauty of your dress form, they never grumble.
No, and you can make it just right for them. So it doesn't have to just be dressmaking for you, it can be for someone else as well.
Of course.
And you can change it to suit them. But I think the difference between handmade and homemade, isn't there? You want to make a garment, so people say, where did you buy that? And I know that sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? But it's almost like if someone says, where did you buy it? You know it looks professional.
Oh, yeah.
And then you say, well, you can't get it because I'm the only one who's got it.
So for you, Rebecca, what do you look for? Because obviously there are models out there that we can use. I have to say though, the dress form is exceptional. It's the feature. So what do you look for in something like
adjustability? If it adjusts, so good. And the one feature I really love is the hemming, because hemming is very difficult.
Well, let's talk about the hemming, because you have got that feature. And if I just show you here, so you've got on either model, you've got the option to obviously get that perfect hem. How does that, if you just talk us through, how would that work?
Well, you decide the length that you want it. So you could measure a dress you've already got, put that on to the form and say, right, that's the dress I want. And then you can address that hem marker and it goes inside. You know that you've got like a little piece that opens up, like a claw?
Yeah.
You can put the dress that you know is the right size, the right length, in so that it sits at the bottom of that claw, and just adjust it to the right length.
Yeah. So
then what you can do is then you just move the dress that around and all around the hem, and then you can mark it and go.
Lovely.
Quite often you get a dress where you just cut the same amount off all the way round, because some dresses they're higher at the front at the waist than the back.
Yeah.
So you've got to cut it slightly differently. It's the one thing that people always ask you. If you can sew, they always go, oh, could you just have my trousers or my dress, or can you just take up? It's the one thing. Can you make me a cushion, and can you my trousers? I would,
and actually, Rebecca, you've touched on a very important point, because there is a warning with regard to the dress forms. When you get these home, when you start either altering your own clothes or making it, and they look so good, all your friends are going to be saying, oh, I've got this one dress. You couldn't help me out. It will happen, but you'll be everyone's favourite, though. Imagine you're very popular.
I know, but it's people don't always realise how long it takes, though.
Sorry again?
They don't realise how long it takes and the skill that's involved.
I can imagine, Rebecca. Rebecca, we haven't got long left on the show. Can you just talk us through? I know we've got the ham and also the block.
The clapper.
Presser clapper. Could you just tell us a little bit about those? If you just bring them to yourself.
Yeah, sure.
And just talk through, because I'll be honest, I did not know what the pressing ham was for, and also the clapper. So talk us through. Now, I've got these on the show. You can add them to your basket. We have got an event. You can see it down there. Effectively, if you have 4 items from a live show, it can be any live show up until 6 p.m. on the 11th, then you will get the cheapest item 3. So effectively 4 for the price of 3.
Well, so everything that's in this show is basically, if you buy all the things I've selected, so you've got the dress form, the sewing essentials, all the pressing equipment and the cutting, you've got everything you need. You can now be a brilliant dressmaker.
Yeah.
You're done. So one of the key things for a professional finish is pressing. Every time you sew a seam, press it. If you're sewing a flat seam, easy, you just put it on your ironing board and you press it. But if you've got a curve, you can't press it very easy. Now, this is a flat seam, but I'm just going to show you. So say I wanted to press that and it was a curve.
Yeah.
How do you do that? You can't, it's not very easy to get it. Your ironing board isn't thick enough to get it round the edge. So these tailor's hams, they're obviously called hams because they're the shape of a ham. They're filled with sawdust.
Yeah.
They've got a twill and a wool top, and you just hold it round there. The sawdust, because it's wood, will absorb the heat. And so you can then press your seam. So if you're doing armholes, sleeves or collars, or if you've got a bodice that has princess seams where it's slightly curved, then use this. So it's just a brilliant.
Right. So we've got a ham, and also if you just talk us through the clapper.
Oh, the clapper's just a thing of beauty. Tailors have been using these forever and ever. They're made from hard wood. So when you press a seam, use steam. Steam's the best thing. If you haven't got a steam iron, spray it with water and use a hot iron. What happens then is you've got the seam nicely pressed, but then all the steam disappears into the air and it comes away from the fabric. But hard wood absorbs steam. Yeah. So you press your seam. I'm going to demonstrate this for you properly tomorrow. I'll get up with an iron. You press your seam, and then as soon as you've pressed it, you just press your clapper on top. Hold it for about 5 seconds. Don't smack it, you just hold it. And that action means all the steam is absorbed into the wood, and you is beautifully pressed. If you're turning the fabric, you want to make a hem. I'll show you on this black. Say you wanted to make a hem, and you want to turn it over twice. When you press it, you'll then have to pin it because it will start coming undone. But if you press the clapper on top, just 5 seconds, that's all you have to do. The steam is absorbed, and it's that mixture between the heat and the moisture, which is then quickly removed, sets the perfect seam.
And we've only got a minute or so left. Well, what does the other side do?
Well, this is a point turner. So if you are making a collar that's got a little point in it, or a right-angled corner, and you want to be able to press it, you can push this right into it so you can get a beautiful point, and then you can press on top.
Incredible.
Because it's wood, you can press on it.
Rebecca, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. Unfortunately, time has beaten us, but the good news is Rebecca will be returning at 8 o'clock, so we get another look at everything on the show. We will be exploring. If you do have any questions, please feel free to get in touch. If you want to see anything as well, send us an email, studio@hochanda.com. Still extremely busy for a one-day special. 2 one specials. Look, for the title, for the purpose of the show, this is our one-day special. Details are on your screen. It's your medium, so it's sizes, 14 to 20. There we go. 14 to 20 for your one-day special, fully adjustable. You can also do the hem at the bottom there. You can split the price, 2 flexi payments of £55, and you're saving £49. If you want to go for the small, the only difference here is sizing. So sizing 18 to 16, and 8 to 16, and you're £99, and you've got £50 saving. Thank you so much for your company. I really hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy your dressmaking. Try and keep us company at 8.